Hey, Linda.
Hello, quilt people. Happy hump day.
I'm back.
You're back. Where were you?
I was at home. My wife wanted to throw a party for her coworkers in our backyard. We did this right before COVID happened. We did this big. We signed all the contracts for this big backyard remodel, and then there hit COVID. Ooh. So we did it. We put in a big patio cover, pizza oven, barbecue thing, all that kind of fun stuff. So I was making a whole bunch of pizza for the teachers on their last day of school.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. So it looks like you got some good weather there.
Oh, beautiful weather day. Okay, according to my watch, here, hold on. We'll get the right screen up here. It is going to be, here we go. 90 degrees today. It is 79 degrees out there right now. It will be 90 degrees here by about 4 o'clock. But beautiful sunny sky, not a cloud in the sky, a little bit of a sundowner breeze. It's just gorgeous. What about you?
There's a lot of clouds in the sky. Some storm clouds. We have some stuff, running through intermittently, and it is in the 90s. So, but it's not humid yet. So
sounds like Florida.
Yeah. So we have all kinds of things going on.
Well, we have a great lineup for today's show. So we do have a guest. And Stevie is at the Jiffy Lube Stadium with her granddaughter who's graduating from high school today. So we won't have Linda has a product review for you, but we won't have a Stevie Graves product review. And then I'm going to actually take a whole segment to talk about road in-person news because I have so much of it. We can't talk about it all prior to the show. So we're going to be able to talk about a bunch of road in-person news because there's a whole lot of that. We're going to talk about a COVID update in California in that segment. And then we have 2 finished class projects and 1 project that has left the UFO graveyard that is no longer a UFO.
Did they take our advice?
I don't remember what our advice was.
Oh, we'll have to see when the quote comes.
We will. So who's our guest, Linda?
I'm excited. Today, and believe it or not, this is episode 14. We've been doing this 14 weeks.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
We started this in like March, right?
Yeah, 14
wow.
weeks. Wow. So we have a very, very interesting guest, and she is the design director for Banyan Boutiques, which is a sub-company of Northcott Silk. And I know she has some mad skills in addition to her gorgeous designs. And she's going to talk to us about how they make boutiques.
Oh.
Yeah. Karen Gibbs.
Oh, let's get Karen on. That sounds exciting.
Hi,
hey, Karen.
Hi, how are you? What mad skills are you talking about, Linda?
I know you can wakeboard and chug a beer at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much. Are we allowed to say that on here?
I don't care. We say a whole bunch of things.
Yes, that is a skill that I possess. I haven't graduated to wine yet, just the beer, but I can do it.
I am very impressed.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm coming to you guys from Denver, Colorado, and we don't have to deal with humidity here, Linda. It's gorgeous.
Do you have snow?
Gorgeous. No, that's up in the mountains. If you want to go skiing, you go up there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys want to talk about boutiques today? That's awesome.
We do.
Okay.
Yes.
I love boutiques. I am the design director for Banyan Boutiques, obviously. My previous life, we all have a checkered past. My previous life, I used to design sweaters. for a sweater company. You know all those holiday sweaters with the Christmas trees on them and
Ugly ones?
You
Yeah.
designed ugly Christmas sweaters?
I did ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh, I love ugly Christmas sweaters.
So
I have
now-
a collection of ugly Christmas sweaters.
I'm a collector's item, let me tell you. So yes, that's what I used to do, but I've been around the quilting industry quite a bit. And Northcott approached me and asked me if I'd like to start Banyan Boutiques. So I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of the road that I traveled getting to this point today. So I put together a PowerPoint and well, hey Cindy, I know you are a boutique addict. But I thought you guys could see some of my travels today.
Perfect. All right. Oh, yes. Who doesn't love an ugly Christmas sweater? I'm telling you, I have a great collection of them. All right, Jillian, let's put up that PowerPoint.
Okay, so here we go. Designing for Banyan Boutiques. And all right. Challenging boutiques from start to finish. You think you knew a boutique and you look at that gorgeous boutique wall. There's a lot of different ones on there. And it's kind of I want you to look at boutiques a little bit differently now and think about how you use them. The center photo is actually 2 chops. That's what it's called, a chop. It's made out of copper, and it's little pieces of copper are transferred into or transfer the wax on the fabric, and that holds the color down. So the motif color is the first color that is put on there. In the corner there, you see a tree, and that is actually the banyan tree. That's a tree of life in Indonesia, very much similar to quilting industry. And that's where the name came from, obviously. We wanted to marry it into the quilting industry. Okay, go ahead and flip. How boutiques are made. Up in the corner or up in the center there, you see me drawing a sketch. It's a black and white sketch. And they transfer it, like I said, into a chop. And they're making it with little pieces of copper. And that's their workshop right there. They're called Toucan chop. And that's an artisan. I love the chops. Actually, Linda got one of her chops from her first collection. They're pieces of art in themselves. They take about 20 days to make. And you got to think about the size of the point line, whether it's filled in, is it going to hold the color well enough, all of that kind of thing. But it all starts with just a black and white sketch. Okay, you can flip. And then color application. There's a couple of videos here. Color for boutiques are mixed in buckets, actually, which is quite different than like a computer talking to a computer, right? And then there's different techniques. Do we fold the fabric accordion style? Do we rub it on there almost like a dip dye? Do we hand paint it? Do we take my favorite, we call it Corcoran technique, where we take a squirt bottle and squirt it on there so I can get multi-colors in a 4-inch square that Linda likes a lot. She likes her multis all within a 4-inch square, not big balls of color. But we're able to do the hand painting there on the right-hand side, you can see. And who am I employing then? I am employing women. Okay, it's a patriarchal society. A lot of the times it's all men in factories. And when I'm doing more delicate techniques and that kind of thing, I am employing women. The first person I actually interview with a factory is the color master and then the production manager. In the center there, you see a woman in yellow, and she is their production manager. So I go a couple times a year usually to Indonesia, and I work with them, and we call it play dates. The next picture in the center is one of those play dates where we wrapped some fabric around a tube, and we want to apply color. Remember, color, you got to think about how you're applying it too, what order you're applying it. And you can see she's applying it with my favorite squirt bottle there, okay? Poke holes in the center of a bottle and squirt it on there and layer your color accordingly, okay? All right, go ahead and flip. The motif application, and this is back to the chops. You can see he's applied the colors applied on the brown there, and he is going to dip the chop into a pan of wax and then apply it to there. The wax is going to hold the brown color, then it's bleached out, and then the background's applied. Every time he dips it, he then applies it. So I've required them, quality control, to dip it after each time. The chops are retired after one use or one collection, but the factories are allowed to use those chops in Indonesia for local market. So sometimes I see a sarong with my name on it, basically, or my my design running around the beach in Bali. Okay, so there's a lot of, in the center, you can see it looks like maybe peanut butter fudge. It's actually wax. And there's a difference of wax used during rainy season and wax used during party season. Okay, all right, go ahead and flip. Quality control. All of these are different aspects of quality control that we do. That you can look there. They're using their chanting or canting, and they're checking to see each little hexagon in there on the left-hand side if it's filled in with the wax. If it's not going to hold that color down, right? She's doing it in the center with my Right On collection, making sure that the wax is applied totally. In the center, I'm sitting there, and they're showing me what they look for with the quality control. In the center above too, we're calling it training. You have to train to scrunch up the fabric a certain way and to apply color a certain way. There's teams of 5 to 10 people that work together and have a consistent look. Because remember, when I get a Strikeoff in, or when I see a fabric, I say, yes, let's make 1,000 yards of that. It all has to be consistent because you guys want consistency in your quilts. But please remember, batiks are all handmade, every single process. Another thing is, a lot of the batiks, they're squatting down to make that. They do train to do that. If I took up yoga, I'd be able to do that a little bit better. But they do work through a training program in the factories that I work with. On the right-hand side, I'm learning from a gentleman who's been a chop. He applies the wax with the chop for, I think, 35 to 40 years. And he's showing me how to do it. If you do it ineffectively, if you don't put it in the repeat correctly, it doesn't work. You have to wash off the wax and start again. If you put the wax down too long, it's a problem. It pools and it runs all of the lines together, and then you don't see the definition. This particular chop that I'm using is from one of my guest designers, Patty Carey, her Vino collection, all about the wines. Right, Linda? You and Patty go out in Pigeon Forge a lot, I think. Okay. Next one's good. Yeah. Okay. And speaking of guest designers, my favorite thing in the world is to work with guest designers in our industry with batiks, because batiks are so very different compared to the cotton fabrics, how the colors and everything are applied. And Linda is one of my guest designers. She has had Island Vibes as a collection, and Carnival is in stores right now. There's a couple of her patterns that she uses to showcase her fabrics. And that's one thing I do look for when I'm choosing guest designers, is I look for their impact on the industry. And sometimes it's their voice, right? Of what they have to say. I met Linda. She decided to do an impromptu Zumba class in my booth at Quilt Market. And so I said, I want you. Okay, so that's her collection that is in stores right now, and she has something to say a little bit later about maybe another collection. Okay, go ahead. And that's a flip video of that collection. You can see a lot of these flip videos where we're flipping through the headers on my YouTube channel if you're interested in that. Also, Banyan Batiks has a product finder guide on their website if you want to see which stores in your area do carry it. Okay, and a lot of local quilt shops picked up Linda's collection. Okay,
look at those stripes.
I know, stripes are great. This collection is also in stores right now, Stardust. And on the left-hand side is a quilt that was in the Maine Shop Hop. If any of you out in Maine participated in that Shop Hop this year, just this last month, it goes through the summer, you'll be able to pick up this quilt. I designed that quilt. I designed the fabric that went in that quilt. So make sure to shout out to those 20 stores in Maine and see if you can pick up some of the Stardust collection. Up on the right hand side, you can see it where I was doing a sketch. It's transferred into a chop design, and then it makes it into the fabrics. How many colors do you think I have to choose per fabric?
Oh, 15?
Yeah, per fabric, I have to choose at least 5 colors in the motif and then 5 colors in the background. Each SKU. So each design. So maybe I'll use 3 to 4 different versions of the same design in a collection. But yeah, quite a bit of color. And you got to worry about how they marry together. Okay, go ahead and flip. This particular collection, Northern Lights, was actually in Quilty Box in March. And I'm really proud of this particular quilt that was in there as well. It's called Olivia Starr, and it's a mini-me of a very popular pattern I designed called Madison Star. So this is the mini. The Madison is the larger one. Madison and Olivia are my daughters. Madison, I get free labor on Mother's Day. That's a thing, by the way. It's really a thing. Madison, I was thanking her for that a few years ago when we were creating it. And I said to her, I really appreciate it. And she said, the least you could do is name that thing after me. And she's very proud of the fact over 15,000 of her Madison stars have been made. Okay. So it's a really popular one. Olivia's hoping that you guys like her pattern better than Madison, of course. Go ahead and flip. And there's more of the Northern Lights. In this video here, you can see where I start sketching. Like I said, it's a black and white sketch. I love polka dots, any kind of polka dot, and I like to use it in almost like a pointillism technique. Okay. And then I have some filled in things. And then it gets transferred to the chop. There's the chop, actually, and the fabric next to it. Okay. Dot Necessities. Here's another collection that's in stores right now. A whole bunch of, we did double chop applications. Check out that quilt. Isn't that adorable? It's in the quilt maker right now. And it uses Dot Necessities. It's called If You've Got It. It's by Kathy Marie Designs. Kathy Laird created that. And I'm super proud of that. I think it's just the cutest quilt. Isn't it fun? So I really like it when project designers reach out and ask if they'd like to use the Banyan Batiks. Totally support them in that. Go ahead, Flip. All right. So we're going to play this video, and I'm just going to let you know, comment about it as we go. What he's doing is he's smoking, okay? That is called smoking or smocking the fabric. See how it's nice and even, okay, how he's done it. He's applying the color, more in big balls of color, and he's going to apply 4 different colors. It's all by hand. Look how even this is, okay? They, like I said, they do train for this. It is all about how you apply the color. They're applying the soda ash to it. And soda ash kind of acts like salt does in a watercolor painting. It disperses the color, okay? Right now we're going to fix the color and make sure it stays on there so we can add the wax. I don't recommend standing on the edge of that, frankly, but he feels very comfortable with that. Again, we have to dry it. Now notice, you're going to notice in this video that we're drying it quite a bit or letting it set quite a bit. So there is not hurrying that process, okay? This gentleman is applying the wax, okay, for this. Notice how he's dipping it in each time. So the chop is limited to the size of the pan that holds the wax, okay? So the repeat is all figured in there, okay? So all of that color that was just applied is only for the motif, okay? We are now going to get rid of the background color by bleaching it. Okay, so you have to know how to layer color too, because your motif color could be a certain color. It's still going to leave a residue because we don't want to damage the integrity of the fabric at all. So there is a residue of color there. So I need to make sure I can put color over it. So it's a little bit of color theory. So when Linda goes off on some tangent about color, I have to pull her back. Okay. This is hand painting. We're able to offer hand painted batiks with Banyan batiks. I have the quilt next to me that's made with these. So it's hand painted in there. Once it's hand painted, you can't dye it for the background yet. She's got to put the wax over that hand painting. Okay, to hold the color. The wax is always used to hold that color. So she goes in and colors it basically with wax. And that's called chanting or canting. Okay. And that's her office. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful there. I love it. Okay, so we're doing a couple different processes for color. And he would not wear gloves. I apologize. He didn't mind his hands that color. Okay. But we dip dyed it. In other words, a solid color. And now we're doing the very scientific method of squirt bottle on top of it. Okay. To add color for a little bit more depth. So I didn't want just a flat. I wanted the pink with a little bit of the purple going on in there. Okay. Now we got to get that wax off of there. Okay, so we will boil the wax off of there. Sometimes they will do it by hand like this, or use something like very similar to a cement mixer kind of thing to get that wax off of there. And they've got to clean it. Okay, and making sure the wax is off and fix the color. And let's see, there is the batik. Okay, and that's the flower power. That's one batik. Okay, so you can see the process takes a little bit to make, but the flower power collection is in stores right now. Okay?
Hey Karen, how many yards can they do at a time? Like, do they do like a bolt at a time, or?
Yeah, we prefer to keep it at like a 15-yard piece. We don't generally do very, very long ones. You can see how it's so cumbersome, right, to keep moving it around. So we do, I have 12-yard bolts and 15-yard bolts. I prefer to keep them more contained like that. Yeah, it's easier to repeat the color. Okay, you can flip. And this one is the BFFs. This one is coming in August, and you can see it's the same type of process that we did. We're not doing the hand painted, but this gives you a little idea of how he's doing the chop, how he's making the chop out of tiny copper strips. These guys are amazing. Okay, there's my sketch, and then he's going to make it. They measure the color on a scale, but it's mixed in the buckets, obviously. And then we're going to dip dye this particular one. This is for the motif. Okay. Again, with the smoking process, or see how it's kind of accordion style first, and then he kind of smokes it. Okay. Nice and even. Look how fast he is. It's amazing how fast he is. Now, we dip dyed it, but now we're squirt bottling it. So it's a layer of what techniques do I want to do to achieve it. Another thing is with processing of color, during rainy season, it's very difficult to process those heavy saturated colors because they have to sit out in the heat, in the sun. Okay. So they're always watching the weather. They're always checking to make sure that they can process, say, the reds or something like that, the heavily saturated colors. All right. With the BFFs, I did a lot with multis. I wanted multi-colors. So it was a lot of play with how many colors I could get in the background, as well as how many different colors I could get in the motif. And this is drying it. I love this. I love walking through the factory and you see yards and yards and yards of batiks. They're just beautiful sitting there drying. Okay, this is my favorite dude. He helps me. He helped me learn how to use the chops. Okay, and he's actually doing the BFFs. And notice some lines in that. The BFFs has a very tight line, right? I had to make sure there was enough space in between each piece of copper, so it didn't pool into another one. So for instance, if I had a dot or something like an eye on a turtle, I don't know who would want turtles on a batik, but I'm thinking it's Linda. I had to make sure there was enough space around it so I wouldn't lose that, okay? All right, so the wax, remember, is holding on all of that color, but the background, we got to bleach it out because we got to apply more color. Okay, it's a whole separate process. So they go through this over and over for each one. Okay, you can flip. Okay, luster is one of our essentials, and this one actually goes through 5 different processes to be achieved. And it's the normal batik process, but then I'm adding on kind of hand screen printing with an over dye of a black. I also have a touch of metallic in there, and this has been really well received by the quilt shops and the quilting community as something quite different. Okay, they let me play a little bit. They thought I was quite entertaining. I'm not very good at it, but when you apply the bleach through a screen, you're able to achieve a finer line and more detailed kind of a lace look. That's what I wanted with the luster. Okay, go ahead and flip. And we're using the luster in a block of the month. Stores are starting to sign up for it right now. We work very, very far ahead and have to do that. It starts next January. Make sure you ask your local store if they have picked up the block of the month, if they're going to do it. It's with Scott Flanagan. He's fantastic to work with. He will be a guest designer for us next January as well. Now, when I say he's a guest designer next January, what exactly do I mean? Well, Linda is having another collection, and I think that's the end of it, right? Linda's having another collection coming out in September, late August, September. And that's when we show it to stores. And then stores don't bring it in until next spring or summer. So it's a long, long process, but I think Linda may want to show you something.
I do. Because I am really, really excited. Okay. We're going with the theme, and of course I dropped it down on the floor. We're going with the theme of Island Vibes again, but we have some different colors. Oops. We have some sand dollars.
Can you see the starfish in there? They're kind of a subtle thing. Again, with a little bit of pointillism. See them?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Well, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the stripes. I love the stripes.
Yes. So what she's showing you is strikeoffs. So she's got strikeoffs, and we approve them from strikeoffs and get sample yardage. So we can make headers like this, and designers can play with the fabric.
Okay, are you ready? This is my favorite.
That's cool.
Oh, that's really
How
cool.
many colors are in that one, Matt?
Oh, that one's going to be a lot.
Yes.
This is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I'm assuming you like that one, Linda, and you want that in your collection? Okay.
Now, can you explain the strike-off process for the viewers? I think that's something that's not well understood. Like, for example, when we design fabric, we get strike-offs, so we get to make changes and approve them. But I think that might be something that people would be interested in hearing about.
Yes. Yeah. So what a strikeoff is a mini version, or it's a small piece that we do. The factory does based on the colors that I've asked for. Okay. And I try and give them the order of colors that I want or that Linda wants. And I may mess it up. What if I say go yellow first, then orange, then pink, then green, then, but what if it's better to do orange first, then pink, then yellow, then green? Okay, so a Strikeoff kind of we look at it and see, okay, did it mix the way I wanted it to? Did we use the right technique? Is this what maybe Linda was thinking for this collection? And we do go ask for a restrike. Okay, a restrike is, okay, try it again. But it is, I mean, it is not as easy as, I don't want to say it's easy, layering colors. Like it's an acrylic painting, cotton print is like layering of colors, right? Whereas batik is more like a watercolor painting, and you're going to get some serious surprises. Yeah. Did I answer that?
This collection.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank you,
Linda's
Cheryl.
fabric. Oh, it's really neat. We've gotten to see a couple of them, and we're very excited to see how they turn out.
And I don't know if you have it. Stevie actually made a quilt. I sent her some fat quarters from Carnival, and she sent us a picture of a quilt that she did with it. Do we have that?
I do. Do you need me to airdrop it to you, Jillian? Okay. I'm airdropping it to Jillian right now, and she'll put it up.
Airdrop.
Now, if you guys want to know more about batiks, I do a Facebook Live on Thursdays, 1 o'clock Mountain Time. And it's like 15 minutes because I don't have a lot. I don't like to be in front of a camera very long. So it's 15 minutes, and I just talk about different aspects of it. And I go more into how it's made and how it's designed and how it's colored. And what do you think about this? And here's a sneak peek. So make sure you join me. It's in the group, Karen Gibbs for the Love of Batiks.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm going to have to pop into that.
Yeah.
If anybody has questions for Karen, put them in the chat, and she'd be happy to answer them for you.
You zoomed right by, Jillian.
And we do have, Karen is very graciously and generously providing some Banyan Batik bundles.
Yeah.
Yes. For a giveaway. So Jillian's getting that on here right now. Oh, there it is right there. So you can win one of 3 fat quarter bundles generously provided to us from Banyan Batiks. And you can click on that little link right there and enter via the raffle copter. There's different ways you can actually get more than one entry, so make sure you check it out. Really easy, like you visit and like Banyan Batik's Facebook page, and you visit and like the Road to California Facebook page. It's all on there. It's really easy to use. So what's behind you? What's the quilt behind you? Somebody asked that.
Oh, this one is the it's slideshow. It's a pattern, Terry Atkinson pattern, sorry. Terry Atkinson pattern. And this one is slideshow. And I had it quilted by Christine Perigo, who has done a lot with modern quilting. But this particular top I had made in Indonesia, and then shops were able to purchase the top and use it as a display when the fabric came in. So they didn't have to make up a display right there. Terry allowed me to do that and to teach my team in Indonesia how to quilt and how to make those tops. Remember, they got hit hard with COVID as well, and they're a tourist company or country. So this was we were able to employ some more people by making the tops for some quilt shops.
Yeah.
So how many factories do you use, and how many people generally work there?
I use about 5 factories right now, and the reason for that is different parts of the country. It's such a tradition, right? Different parts of the country are more familiar with certain colors or certain motifs or better at certain things. So I like to use that variety. In one of the factories, I think there's 150 employees, and then it depends. Each factory's different. Sometimes I'll use a smaller factory because of the genius behind the color master there, you know. But remember, they don't necessarily want to export. we're not fun to we're fun to deal with, yes, but having to deal with all the regulations to get it out of the country, all of that kind of thing, they much prefer to use to produce things for the domestic market. If you wear a uniform in Indonesia, you are somebody. You do have a decent job, and so they provide all the uniforms for hospitality, and so I find it amusing when quilters ask, "Is this good for clothing?" And it's like, well, that's where it started. They didn't know they were making it for quilting. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
Oh, it's always fun to hear. I think Jillian has a picture of that quilt. There it is.
Look at that. That's so pretty with Carnival.
That is.
Very, very pretty.
Perfect. Well, I do thank you very much for your time. Yes, they were interesting and very enjoyable videos. It's always neat to see how fabric is made.
You're fabulous.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
So one more question. The cotton. They don't grow cotton in Indonesia, do they?
No.
Okay, so the cotton, they import the cotton, and that's how they make the...
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Neat. You have anything else, Linda?
No, we just want to make sure everybody start watching for my collection out in quilt stores in April, May next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah. And ask your local quilt shop what kind of batiks they carry. So now you should be able to determine what kind of techniques you're seeing on that batik wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's neat. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank
it
you.
was a pleasure, a lot of fun, and I'm sure we will see you again.
Yep, absolutely. I'll see you guys.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Linda, you have a product review, don't you?
Well, I not necessarily a product. I have a top tip.
Oh, a tip. All right, here we go.
Okay. In Stevie's absence, I would share one of my tips with you today. So when I'm making a quilt, some people, they cut and they'll throw their little pieces away. I don't. I keep the scraps from the quilt in whatever size they are and whatever shape. I mean, you think you could really do anything with that? Possibly not.
You might.
Yeah, some triangles. And these are the BFF. These are samples. And I was making a quilt. And I keep all my scraps because you never know when you might run out of a specific fabric or color like I did because I miscalculated. I designed a quilt and I kind of miscalculated the yardage. So I keep every little piece in every little piece in a baggie so that if I have to build another piece, which I'm not afraid to do, I might stitch a whole bunch of these pieces together and make a bigger square, rectangle, whatever I need, and then use that because this last one I was short like 4.5 inch squares, and I was able to put together my stuff. So,
well, you should always save your scraps, but putting them in a Ziploc bag like that's a great idea. Especially, Linda, I'm going to add a tip to your tip.
Tip my tip.
I'm going to tip your tip. You should write down the quilt name or pattern name on the Ziploc bag so that you know if you have multiple in-progress projects, which one it goes to.
Yeah, that is great.
Or fabric collection, if you keep it all as a collection, you could write down which collection those scraps belong to. And then if you want to really amp it up, you can write down what all of them are named and put in a slip of paper in there so you can go and try and find and buy more.
Oh, you're really pushing it.
I'm pushing it, aren't I?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was kind of clever.
Okay, so we had our quick tip from Linda with a commentary from the Peanut Gallery. And next, we're going to talk about Road in Person. And I know we've been waiting a long time. I actually have some great news from the state of California. We know what the first set of rules and regulations for COVID-19 and mass events are. Now, again, I'm going to preface this by saying they are probably going to change at least 5 times between now and January.
Yeah.
But here are the current rules. For indoor mass events such as Road to California and the International Sewing Arts Festival, masks will be required in the building, but you need to show a COVID vaccination or a negative COVID test. But you don't actually have to show us your card. You have to, when you buy the ticket online or you buy the ticket in the ticket booth, you have to attest that you are COVID negative or fully vaccinated. And that's 2 weeks after that second vaccination. And once that is done, you will be permitted to purchase your ticket and enter the building. So you can attest for the group if you're buying tickets for a group. The bus trip leader can do all the legwork for you and attest for the entire bus trip. So it's really, we expect you to be honest for everyone's safety, and especially your own if you are not vaccinated. But those are the rules, and there are no capacity limitations or social distancing requirements for indoor events. So we will be ready to rock and roll in January. So that's the big news from the state of California. All those events are expected to launch on June 15th. So the event director for the convention center, who is our lead person that we deal with, her first day back at work was yesterday. So everything is booting back up out here, and we are prepared. So now let's talk about road, actually specific road information. A few things for you. Classes. If you registered for classes in 2020 for the postponed 2021 show that is now taking place in January 2022, yes, I know that's a mouthful, those classes will be put back on the internet on July 1st, along with some new ones. So we have had some changes to the class schedule, some small ones. We will be emailing all students affected by those changes this month. So prior to July 1st, if you're affected by one of the small changes, and some of the changes have to do with the ISAF timeline change that occurred when we added the Sewing Arts Festival, you will be notified. You'll be given some options on what to do. The other big news is you will have locked in your class pricing and your registration pricing. Therefore, so long as you do not change your classes, your class pricing will remain the same.
After July 1st, they have the 2 weeks.
After July, and one other thing. After July 1st, you have the option to change classes for 2 weeks and no cost. With the exception of change, the difference in the class fees, of course, but we won't be incurring a change fee. So if you want to change for somebody to one of Linda Hahn's classes in January of 2022, you can change at just whatever the cost difference is for the class fee. So therefore, if it's a reduction in class fee, you will actually get some money back. So that's all happening on July 1st. Now, we've had a lot of questions and comments about the quilt contest. Currently, we are still wrangling those sponsors for the quilt contest. We can't offer a quilt contest without sponsors. There's just no way we can afford to give out the prizes that we are used to giving out without generous support from our sponsors. So currently, we are getting all those loose ends tied up, and we'll be able to announce the contest on July 1st with the rules. The entry period will be open to the 1st of October, so you still have plenty of time. And another major point, if you entered the Road at Home January contest, you are still able to enter the Road to California 2022 contest, so long as your quilt hasn't been shown at a previous Road to California in-person contest, and it has been made within the last, I believe it's 3 years. So typically we do 2 years. We're adding an extra year on because of the COVID pandemic this year to scoop up quilts that would have otherwise been disqualified from entry. Okay, That's the quilt contest. Now let's move on to the quilt challenges. So we had the twins challenge in honor of Owen and Oliver, who will be, 14 months old this month. So that contest, the conspiracy quilt contest, and the Road to California souvenir fabric contest will all be re-released on the 1st of July as well, with entry forms available on August 15th on the online system. So all the rules will be posted, and then the entry system will allow you to enter those quilts at that time. I promise we will display them. I know that it was a little confusing last year on whether we were going to display them for Road at Home or Road in Person. We wanted to make sure your quilts got viewed by the most number of people possible, and the most number of people we can offer you for Road to California is our in-person event. So those quilts will be shown then. If you are looking for a COVID-19 challenge, I am certain if you live in Southern California, the Southern California Council of Quilt Guilds does a exhibit each year of new quilts of Southern California. You should check that out. We haven't made any plans yet to do a COVID-19 challenge. It's still in the works on whether we will or not. And if we do, it will be announced on an upcoming episode of It's So Road. Lastly, the most important date you want. Oh, there's one more thing I almost forgot about. This one's important. Hotels. Now let's talk a little bit about hotels. When you book through us for a hotel, you're actually booking through the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And by booking through the Convention and Visitors Bureau, you are booking a hotel that I have personally vetted. And I like to keep these hotels on a very short leash. Being one of the largest events in Ontario, we have a lot of clout with the hotels. Therefore, if you have a problem with the hotel, and it's a reasonable problem with a reasonable solution, and they're not helping you, and you're staying at one of our hotels and you book through us, that means I can get involved. And we can actually get the convention center involved and get it fixed. So it's very important that you support the show and the city and book through one of those partner hotels. Now, we have changed a couple of hotels. We are no longer booking with the Residence Inn. And I know a lot of people are upset by that. But again, I personally vet the hotels. And if we don't have a contract with them, there's a reason for that. So I highly recommend when you book your hotels, you book through the Passkey system, which will be available on July 1st. So if you haven't noticed, July 1st is the big date around here. If you booked a room in 2020 for the 2021 postponed show that's now in 2022, you are currently being contacted by the Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau to have your room reservation re-updated at the new rates. And because we negotiated very hard with the hotels, most of the rates went down this year. So you could probably figure out why we didn't sign with a certain hotel, because their rates didn't change. So we booked with you. We have been fighting for you to get the best possible rates in Ontario. We added some new hotels for you. If you are a Marriott Rewards member, we are being told that the Ontario Gateway Hotel will be a Delta by Marriott by January. That's what we're being told. So that means you can still get your Marriott Bonvoy or whatever they call it, rewards points for them. There's also a Sheraton hotel that we book with. They also get Marriott points as well. So there are other solutions. Of course, we have the Hilton, we have Holiday Inn, we have a Trademark Collection hotel, and we added the Best Western this year. So you have lots of different housing options, but it's very important that you support the show and book through Passkey on July 1st. If you are so excited you can't contain yourself and you need to book a hotel right now, you can call the Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau. The number is 909-937-3000 and ask for the hotel booking coordinator, and they will get you in contact with Wendy. So that is, one more. August 14th. At 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, you, the general public, can register for Road to California 2022 classes. That's the big date.
August.
So, I know that was a mouthful and a whole lot of dates and numbers and craziness to talk about.
Are you reading from a teleprompter or something?
You know what? I'm not. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
So like August 1st is the big day, right?
No, July 1st.
July 1st. Okay. All right.
Haven't you been paying attention, Linda?
July 1st, I am opening registration for students and It's So Road people that they can make an appointment to take me out for a glass of wine. July 1st.
Okay, there you go. You want to take Linda out for a glass of wine July 1st.
Yeah.
I prefer you just mail cookies.
Yeah, make an appointment.
You can take Linda out for a glass of wine, but here in the office, we prefer mailed cookies. Okay, Jillian, did I hit all of the major announcements? Okay, another announcement, the vendor list, the updated vendor list that I know everyone's interested about. We'll be able to have a partial list available online also on July 1st. So currently we're filling last available booths, and that list will be available on July 1. Incomplete list, it'll vary and change here and there. But the rough vendor list, the first of July. Okay, Jillian, did I cover all the dates? I got a thumbs up, and I did all that from memory. That's pretty good.
All right.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
I think it's time we look at some quilts, and I know people are tired of hearing me talk. So let's look at some quilts,
Okay,
Jillian.
let's look at some quilts. What do we got?
All right, this quilt. Cindy doesn't remember who taught this class. But she said that she thinks it was a Janome instructor.
Janome classroom.
And it was a Janome classroom. And if it's recently, we don't have Janome instructors. We have our teachers in Janome classrooms. She can't remember, but she said that the Janome instructors in the classrooms are fantastic and they make the classes very fun. So I like this one. I've seen this because I picked the classes. I've seen this quilt before. Who made it? You're asking the wrong person. I don't remember anything.
Very nice.
I like the circles, though, the play on the circle quilting. I really enjoy this.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Jillian, move on to the next one. Oh, llamas. All right, Carolyn made this quilt, and the project is Applique the Easy Way. Sandy Fitzpatrick taught at Rhode in 2019, and Carolyn made Mama Llama Love. She used different fabric choices from the pattern, plus different colored threads and decorative stitches on each of the applique pieces. I love the llamas.
Yeah.
This goes with my animal quilt collection theme. This is awesome.
This is awesome. Yes.
Okay, and a special ad. This quilt you saw on an episode of It's So Road in our UFO graveyard. And obviously it is out of the UFO graveyard because here it is. Mary Jane made this signature quilt. She says, this is a picture of my finished signature quilt. I had classmates sign pieces of fabric at our 50th class reunion in 2011, but didn't start putting them into my quilt till this year. I wanted to have it ready for our 60th reunion this year, just in case we have one. Because I hadn't purchased enough of the black and white swirl fabric in 2011, I had to sell it for the same look, but not as much black when I put the quilt together. I incorporated the new fabric as part of the pattern around the cardinal and mascot name, and as the binding to put it all together. I love the way it turned out, and I love it too. Awesome. I like seeing our UFOs become full quilts.
Yes. And so if you're on here, did you take our advice? Did you do what we told you?
I don't know if she is or not. We'll watch the comments. But we will be mailing Mary Jane something really cool here in the mail. Jillian doesn't exactly know what I'm talking about yet, but that's fine, Mary Jane. Stay tuned. We'll get your address. We'll mail you something really fun. All right, Linda, do we know who we have on next week?
I'm not here next week.
Are you remoting in?
I am on a jet plane next week.
I thought next week was Reno.
It is.
Oh, you're flying on Wednesday. So it's Stevie and I next week?
It's you and Stevie next week.
I thought Stevie had someone lined up, but she forgot to tell me who. So we will have Jillian's running off to figure out who it is. But we will make the announcement.
Jillian coming on.
Oh, we do. So, that's another one here. If you have questions for our spouses who are begrudgingly coming on It's So Road to talk about what it's like to live with Linda, Stevie, and or Matt, which should be some interesting stories, you could submit your spouse questions at the link on the screen.
And we are giving prizes for the questions.
We are. Aren't you donating a pattern?
I am. Yeah. No holds barred. Ask them anything.
Make it PG, please.
Well, I'm not guaranteeing my husband's going to give you a PG answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, those spouses of ours do say whatever they want.
Yeah.
We even got a babysitter.
Oh.
Jen will be coming down to the It's So Road studio to sit in my wonderful corner overlooking the parking lot with me.
Oh. And then we also have an episode where you and Jillian are going to change places, and we're going to see how good you do behind the camera.
I know. Isn't that exciting?
So, and this way everybody can meet Jillian, the voice behind Road that perhaps they don't get to see her at the show.
Oh, they see her. They just don't know who they're seeing running around like a chicken without a head.
Yeah. So.
Perfect. So that's what's coming up this month. Stay tuned. We are here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to chat about all sorts of fun quilting stuff. And here pretty soon we'll start chit-chatting here and there about the International Sewing Arts Festival. So stay tuned, and everyone stay safe. Wear your masks, get your vaccines, and get ready for a return to semi-normality. All right. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week.